YouTube, Twitch, everyone watching. I don't even remember why this started. We're watching lore today. I think I'm going to upload one YouTube video and I'm just going to put timestamps instead of having to do like 7 videos with thumbnails and stuff, you know? And we're going to go full screen because I'm not as worried about, DMCA type stuff when it's not music videos and movies. So we'll put on Shizzy Reacts, but we'll do the full display. Anyways. I think it was like I was saying that I was considering trying Elden Ring again, and then I said, you know what, nah, screw it, I'll still not like it. And Kai suggested watching the lore video. I don't know. Anyways, we're watching lore, so it should be a good time. Hopefully, it's a good time. I listed a couple of games. Obviously, chat. If you guys have ideas, we could always do that. But I'm going to try to just bang out some, I guess, like as many videos as possible without being like a 5-minute nothing, you know. But I remember recently we did one for The Binding of Isaac Repentance. That was a lot of fun. That was about an hour, and it was explaining the whole lore of like Isaac, rebirth, afterbirth, repentance, and all that, and it was great. Anyways, YouTube, if you like this type of content, I'm used to it being right here for Shizzy Reacts. Like, comment, and subscribe. We're starting with Elden Ring. It's about half an hour. Chat was telling me to check out Vati Vidya. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, I only played 10 hours, maybe 12 hours of Elden Ring. We got to I beat Godric. So I don't know what the lore is. So let's learn.
Begin in the lands between.
And I'll link the original videos in the description.
Far away, with an outer god called the Greater Will.
You know what? We could put
There are a lot of outer gods mentioned in Elden Ring. You can think of these kind of like the great ones of
How's
Bloodborne.
the audio?
They're distant beings. They're all powerful, and
Let me know what the balance is good between
by design.
the video and
many
yourself.
of these outer gods want to make their presence felt in the world. The Greater Will, maybe most of all. To this end, it sent a golden star hurtling towards the lands between.
Thanks,
the
bro.
Golden Star's incantation tells us that this golden star was bearing a beast, an elden beast. The Elden Remembrance calls it a vassal beast of the Greater Will. If you didn't know, a vassal is someone who holds land on behalf of their overlord. Obviously, this
Fuck
is
that Elden
in this
Beast,
case,
by the way.
because the Elden Beast occupied the lands between
I think I've seen
on
it.
behalf of the Greater Will and was a living incarnation of the concept of
That
order.
looks very annoying to
As
fight.
such,
2.5
this beast would
hours?
later become the Elden Ring.
Have you ever
The Elden Ring itself is made
ever considered getting good?
up of runes of power. Some great, some small, that together
I beat him in
represent
2.5
a sort of
tries.
logic for the world to follow. Thus, the Elden Ring represents order.
Because poggers
The
is
true
fucked with
nature
them, I
of
couldn't
this
handle them.
order is a subject of constant debate and research undergone by fundamentalists.
Nerd
The
lore,
two
what's
of
up,
the key
Bracey?
fundamentals are the laws of causality and regression. You can think of the law of causality as cause and effect, where actions have consequences, and those consequences are new causes that branch out into infinity.
You beat
These
Millennia
are
on your
the
second try?
relationships
Really?
between things. Then there's the law of regression that states that all things eternally yearn to converge and return to their roots. Fittingly, then, the Elden Ring is housed within the Erd Tree, which towers over the lands between. But it's very important to stress that life in the lands between did not begin with the Erd Tree, the Elden Ring, or the Elden Beast.
Not even let me
the
solo
lands
her can
between
match
were
my
occupied
accomplishments.
well before the Greater Will came. There were other beings here. There were
I
other
will say, you know that I hate FromSoft games. I legitimately think that they're terrible. I always say, though, that the presentation is stellar. The music's amazing. The graphics are amazing. But the enemy design and stuff is fan-fucking-tastic and everything. Bloodborne, Sekiro, everything. It's amazing. Is there a lore video for Let Me Solo Her, actually? That would be incredible. That's a great question. Let's see if that exists before we continue. Let me solo her lore. The story of Let Me Solo Her explained. Holy shit. There's actual lore videos? Huh. Wow. I have to watch this off stream. We won't watch it today, but Let's Player's reaction to the encounter with Millennia. That, Let Me Solo Her the movie. 1,000th Millennia slain? Fuck off. You know?
factions here. There were other gods
Nice cheeks,
here,
though.
and there was even another great tree here before the Erd Tree. And this is where a huge twist regarding the Erd Tree comes in. So
It's actually the
there are
Great Deku Tree?
incantations in the game called aspects of the Crucible. According to their descriptions,
Is this
these
a glitch?
are manifestations of the Erd Tree's primal vital energies. And I quote, "They are an aspect of the primordial crucible where all life was once blended together." But how could all life be blended together in the Erd Tree if the Erd Tree appeared after life existed? Well, there can only be one answer, right? That the Erd Tree is a parasite, and it took over a tree that existed here before. This ancient tree was called the Great Tree. So the Great Tree was almost certainly the location of this primordial crucible, and it must have been a very powerful primordial force for the Greater Will to have commandeered. It might even be the reason the Lands Between is important to the Greater Will in the first place. It also explains why spells and enemies related to the Great Tree's crucible would eventually be looked down upon.
This is
For
awesome
example,
so
the
far.
Knot Talisman is fashioned from a knotted vestige of the crucible, and it was considered a signifier of the divine in ancient times, but is now increasingly disdained as an impurity as civilization has advanced. Enemies related to the crucible are the Omen, the Misbegotten, and the Crucible Knights, and all three of them would be shunned, enslaved, or imprisoned. Those who speak for the Erd Tree don't want you
They
to
look
know
like
its
Gollum.
roots, so to speak. According to the spell, protection of
I hope this Elden Nerd talks about the lore of Chris falling off shit, dude. Can we get some keck points in chat? Chris Falden? You actually just beat the game where every enemy was replaced by Millennia. Is that true? I can't even tell you for trolling me because he's that cracked.
the Erd Tree. In the beginning, everything was in opposition to the Erd Tree, but through countless victories in war, it became the embodiment of order.
In Marika's own words, the Erd Tree governs all. The choice
No wonder he's made
is
an list, am I
thine.
right, Bracey?
Become one with the order, or divest thyself of it, to wallow at the fringes, a powerless upstart.
But the Greater Will needed more than a big tree. It needed loyal agents in the Lands Between.
Bracey, I
To
just
this end,
remembered
it
your
has the two
edit
fingers,
of
who
him
are its
falling.
envoys.
He also
The two
fell into
fingers
our hearts.
heirloom
Aw.
has a weird picture of them, but it reads, "Of course, fingers cannot speak, yet these are eloquent. Persistently they wriggle, spelling out mysteries in the air. Thus did we gain the words of our faith." These words are interpreted by the finger readers. These are the
Whoa.
undying old
The what now? Hey, yo. I knew one of them.
runes that you would have found throughout the Lands Between. They pass down the wisdom of the two fingers, or at least they used to.
Your fingers, please, your fingers. I can read them.
Most of them appear to have lost their purpose, and they're desperate to read your fingers and tell you annoying riddles,
Mandatory, this is eternal?
since their two fingers are likely dead. And yes, of course, there are multiple sets of two fingers. You would have found their corpses on the
Is
tops of the divine towers.
Ugh.
Atop these towers, you loot
it
the
the area
fingers
with,
in
like,
order
the
to activate
hand
the true
spiders?
power of a great rune. Specifically, though, you are giving benediction back to your great rune. You're taking a blessing back from the two dead fingers, essentially. This is just one of many blessings that the two fingers can bestow, and my point is kind of that the two fingers clearly have more than just influence. They have
This
real
game's so
power
nasty.
on some level. The Greater
Bro.
Will needs these powerful envoys and agents because, while it's obviously
hair.
incredibly powerful, it does seem limited by a few things. First is space. The Greater Will didn't come to the Lands Between itself, it sent an elden beast to do its bidding instead. Second is time. There is a moment later in the game where your pair of two fingers go still because they're forced to commune with the Greater Will for guidance.
When they are finished, the fingers will again offer their guidance. But thousands, if not tens of thousands, of moons must first pass. No
Bro.
matter for me. But you, how will you ever manage the wait?
So the
Who comes
Greater
up with
Will
this shit, you know what
needs
I
a
mean?
physical manifestation of order. It needs
Shit's fucking
envoys to
insane, dude.
convey its
Yeah,
will.
Kai,
but what-
refresh my memory. Why did we start talking about lore? Was it me saying that like I was considering going back to this, and then I said nah, screw it, and you said watch lore? I really don't remember. And then it became a whole thing. Legitimately don't remember it, right? Like I was thinking like, what even started this again? I remember it was literally this weekend, like 2 days ago when I was playing Redfall.
What it also needs is a god. Introducing Marika the Eternal.
Also,
I
welcome
have
back.
this
Hope you're having
utterly
a good one.
enormous mind map of Elden Ring's lore, and there's a reason she's at the center. She's essentially the equivalent of Gwyn from Dark Souls, except unlike Gwyn, Marika didn't just crawl out of the dark and find power. To an extent, it seems like she earned it. We don't know much about her origins, except that she is
I've
of
seen
the
her.
Newman race, which is actually an origin that you can choose in the character selection screen. Newman come from outside the lands between, and are supposed descendants of denizens of another world, long-lived but seldom born. At some point, Marika was chosen as an Empyrean. What is an Empyrean? Well, an Empyrean is a being chosen by the fingers as a
I fucking hate these fingers, bro. The hair is so vile.
candidate for godhood. As
Ugh.
an Empyrean, Marika received chosen by the fingers as a candidate for godhood. As an Empyrean, Marika received the aid of a shadow to do her bidding. So what is a shadow? Well, it's a wolf, shadowbound to its Empyrean by the two fingers. Luna Princess Rani is another example of an Empyrean
Know her
with
too?
a shadowbound beast. You would have met Blythe. These creatures are the Empyrean's very own shadow. They are completely loyal to their needs and, by definition, incapable of treachery. Marika's shadow was a beast called Malakath. Every Empyrean uses their shadow in different ways, but Marika's sole need of her shadow was as a vessel to lock away destined death. So what is destined death? Well, according to Enya, it's the rune of death.
The rune of death goes by two names. The other is destined death.
We mentioned earlier that the Elden Ring is made
Blade
up of
is so
runes,
cool,
and
sword is so badass.
at some point, maybe when
You
she was
mean his
chosen
blade?
as a god, Marika plucked the rune of death from the Elden Ring. She gave the rune of death to Malakath, her totally loyal shadow, who bore a black blade imbued with this rune. It's kind of genius, really. In a single act, she removed the concept of death from the lands between, while also commanding total control of death through her shadow, who could deliver it at her whim.
Huh.
Now, some
This
of
is
you
like
might be
her
asking,
personal Grim
if
Reaper.
death is removed
Hi, is the
from
audio
lands
good for you, by the
between,
way?
how come I can kill this dog? First off,
Ray?
shame on you. Second, from a lore point of view, that dog isn't really dead. It's simply in the process of its spirit, or its soul, returning to the Erd Tree. Catacomb dungeons, for example, are specifically constructed near the roots of the Great Tree for this
Thanks
reason,
for mentioning the
so
dog.
that the Erd Tree can reabsorb their ashes back into it. This process replaced the concept of a death that you were destined to have. But this random spirit outside of a
good for
catacomb
me, alright,
dungeon
thank you.
says it best.
For those on
As another
YouTube not
example of
familiar,
this theory,
here we
when you
have
kill a
we
major
actually have a
boss,
turtle.
You receive a remembrance of them. These are spirits, and they are hewn into the Erd Tree. In this way, thanks to the Erd Tree's grace, their spirits are immortalized, in a sense. This new form of death also explains what's happening when you summon spirits.
From ash and return to the Erd Tree.
However, some spirits never return to the Erd Tree, and they rise within death as corpses or skeletons instead.
Oh, that makes sense. That's the root, which we'll address in another video.
So this was the new order. And it's important to stress that it was in this moment, when the rune of death was removed, when destined death was taken, this is when order became the golden order.
The forbidden shadow plucked from the golden order upon its creation.
Specifically, this was Marika's golden order. So not only did she become a god and a vessel for the Elden Ring, she became renowned as Marika the Eternal for her removal of destined death. It was a huge part of her character and her reign as well. However, Marika had more than just death to conquer. She had wars to fight, as the world was occupied by many forces that could threaten her golden order. There was war with the Stormlord, who likely ruled over Stormvale, and there was a war with the Giants,
makes sense.
who were masters of a flame that could burn the Erd Tree. There was war with the ancient dragons, who incidentally had stones that could twist time and thus slay a god. And finally, there was war brewing with the Carrion royalty, who had previously obeyed laws which contravened the Golden Order. Thus, sort of similar
seems
to
a lot
how
less
the Greater
badass after
Will
the
needed
dragon
an
thing.
Empyrean to enforce its will, Marika herself needed someone to wage war. So
We have
there was to be a
dragons that can
husband,
kill gods,
consort,
and then we have
an
Jeff who
elden
once
lord.
jaywalked.
The man chosen was Horalu, a ferocious warrior who became known as the Lord of the Battlefield. His crown was warranted with strength, and while it was for this strength that Marika married him, he was also required to take a vow to conduct himself as a lord. To suppress the ceaseless lust for battle that raged within, Horalu took the beast regent Sarosh upon his back. You'll notice this is another example of a beast being given for the purpose of serving order. Thus, in this moment,
That's
he
so
went from being
sick.
Horalu, warrior, to Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, consort to Queen Marika, and a certified demigod. Godfrey and Marika
I've never seen this
had
character
3
before, that's
demigod
sick.
children together. There was Godwyn the Golden, who you saw being killed in the opening trailer, and there were also the reviled Omen twins, Morgoth, who guards the Erd Tree, and Mohg, who became Lord of Blood. You might think that Godric was
the one that
another
eats
demigod
shit.
child, but he actually wasn't. Instead, he was probably descended from Godwyn. Anyway, we'll talk about
Fuck this prick, by the way. This prick gave me more trouble than Margit, and I beat Margit naked. I don't know if you guys know the legend of Ichiban the Naked. That's Nekkid.
free money!
Free money, Lightspeed with the 50. What? Didn't you just resub the other day after Eternal gifted you a sub? How many subs you got, homie? Shit, bro. Thank you. Appreciate you, buddy.
About the demigods more in detail in another video, so subscribe for that.
Yeah,
But
Magma
for now,
Worm,
just know that
naked
Godfrey
Magma
and his
Worm,
offspring
naked to obtain a
were the
weapon I could
first
never use.
demigods, henceforth known as the Golden Lineage. In his wars, Godfrey led his 16 Crucible Knights into battle, who were named so for they fought with the primordial powers of the Erd Tree. Their incantations were aspects of the Crucible itself, and they likely fought giants, dragons, the Stormlord, and more to usher in their age, the age of the Erd Tree.
Did after just
In
playing Jedi
Marika's
Survivor, I'm just
own
expecting him to parry everything?
Hark, brave warriors. Hark,
Also, quick little update chat. Jedi Survivor had a 27 gig update. I don't know if that helped with like frames and shit. I don't know. It wasn't that bad on console to begin with. And then your boy swooped a few games on sale. I pretty much finished Ride off stream except for one achievement that just refuses to pop. So I'm trying to figure out how to do it. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna wishlist Ride 2, 3, 4 and play them like over time. They're basically like Forza with motorcycles, so they're sick. Forza 2 happened to be on sale for $4 instead of 40, so I snagged it. And then I went to wishlisted 3 and 4, and then literally the next day I got a notification that Ride 3 was like 90% off. I was like, what the fuck is happening? How do I like Survivor? Besides when BD1 kills Yoda, it was really, really good. I really liked it. It was it improved on pretty much everything from Fallen Order. Also, it did that thing where you know how it's annoying when you finish a game and you're jacked and OP and whatever, and then the next one you forgot everything and you suck. It doesn't do that. Right off rip, you're like fucking shit up. You do kind of like hit like a bitch. Like you'll fight like 3 stormtroopers and kind of struggle, but that's more like skill issue. But no, it's great. Like from the get go, the movement, the traversal and stuff is it's fire. I did have some performance issues, a couple of crashes and some frame drops and stuff, but nothing like crazy. But yeah, see, and even at that, I'm not even going to say the first part because that like I didn't know that I got that spoiled for me, and I was like, fuck. I've had a few spoilers now that I wish I would have seen myself, but you know how YouTube is. Literally, the day that Jedi Survivor comes out, Cal killed Darth Vader blindfolded 4K? Fuck you. Anyways.
my Lord Godfrey, we commend
So
your
annoying.
deeds. Guidance hath
Palpatine
delivered
is
ye
Cal's
through each
stepson?
ordeal to the place ye stand. Put the giants to the sword and confine the flame atop the mount. Let a new
At 12
epoch
for 1, I'll have all of
begin.
Tears spoiled for me.
An epoch
Fuck.
glistening.
True, I have that all muted on Twitter and stuff, but YouTube be YouTubing. I might literally just have to like open it and just open the search bar right away and just search for anything but Tears of the Kingdom.
With life. Brandish.
Can I rewind a bit? Because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of blabbed a bit over
Effects
that.
of the Crucible itself, and they likely fought giants, dragons, the Stormlord.
I did hear that Zelda's a girl in that one.
Their age, the age of the Erd Tree.
In Marika's own words, hark, brave warriors. Hark, my lord Godfrey.
Aren't you the bitch that called me
we
maidenless?
commend your deeds. Guidance hath delivered ye through each ordeal to the place ye stand. Put the giants to the sword and confine the flame atop the mount. Let a new epoch begin, an epoch glistening with life. Brandish the Elden Ring.
I'm not maidenless, you goes to another school.
The Erd Tree would go on to be largely seen as a blessing for all of those in the lands between.
It looks so
especially
sick.
Those close to it
Right?
in Lanedell, the capital city of the Erd Tree. The tree bestowed blessings. For example, the dew
that tree is
dropped from
lit,
its
huh?
branches
Get it?
were like jewels. It loomed overhead as a constant reminder of order, and its roots reached far and wide, relieving many of
You know
the
what I mean?
burden of
They're
death.
so...
In fact,
the
Erd
designs
Tree
are so
burial was
fire.
one of the highest honors
Environments, the
a hero
characters.
could receive.
Shame about the
One
game.
by one, the previous factions of the world fell. The giants were put to the sword, and their fell god was killed by Marika herself. The ancient dragons broke down the walls of Lanedell, but met fierce retaliation. However, I think the House of the Erd Tree encountered the most trouble against the land to their southwest, Leonia. Here, the House of the Moon repelled their offensives.
Kai, did you ever see Doc's intro scene from when he played this?
There was not just one,
on that
but
mountain?
2 wars fought here, and in both of these, there was no victory for the Golden, nor for the Moon. And I suspect
He was
it
like
was
standing on that
probably because
mountain
of
and he had
these
the echo
lobsters.
going and shit.
These damn things can
It's
snipe you
great.
from like a mile away, and
Tim
it's
started
bullshit.
playing it.
Actually, it was
That's gonna
probably
be-
because
that's
of
gonna be fun.
Carrion Knights, who, according to their weapons, were able to wield sorceress battle skills, and
I,
despite numbering fewer
So
than
no one's
20
surprised. I saw him tweet like, "So Elden Ring's going well," and right away I didn't even watch the clip. I just saw the Tree Sentinel. I'm like, "Yep."
this power made
Yep.
them a match for even the champions of gold in battle. These enchanted knights were anointed by the Lunar Queen, a young astrologer who went on to establish the House of Caria as royalty in this land.
Is her hat supposed
With
to look
her
like a moon?
bewitching lunar magic, she won over the Academy of Raya Lucaria, where glintstone sorcery was studied, and united the Carian
It
royal
dumpster.
family and the learned scholars of Raya Lucaria defended their home from the golden aggressors. At the head of this great
Dude,
golden army was
They're supposed to have
Radagon.
taken. Oh yeah, I've
Lord
heard. I
Radagon
saw
was a
Pope
great
Tortoise.
champion, possessed of flowing red locks.
This
he came to these lands
this is
at the
not only
head of
very
a
well
great
written and
golden
planned,
host.
but
When he met
like
Lady
well like
Renala
filmed,
in
like well
battle,
machinimaed.
These two champions clashed, fell in love,
This must have taken
and joined
forever.
their houses.
Radagon once cleansed himself with celestial dew, repented his territorial aggressions, and swore his love to Renala. The order of the Erd Tree and the fate of the moon were conjoined,
Sorry, dog. True.
and all the wounds of war forgiven.
You might think it strange that the Greater Will would permit this union, but it's not too odd, all things considered. As with most From Software games, sorcery and faith are just two sides of
I
the
literally
same
just drank a
coin,
monster and I can't stop
both
yawning.
of these powers stem from the cosmos. Radagon and Renala were known to have 3 children together. Lunar Princess Rani, who inherited her mother's propensity for lunar magic, Radan, who took after his father Radagon and would go on to master gravitational magic.
I know
and
Radan.
Rakan, who pioneered new hex sorceries and would go on to feed himself to a great serpent. It follows that at some point after this, Marika began to harbor doubts. Doubts about the Golden Order that
Fed
she
himself
had
to a
had
snake?
hand
Why?
in creating.
In Marika's own words, I declare mine intent to search the depths of the Golden Order through understanding of the proper way. Our faith, our grace is increased. Those blissful
It all
early
makes
days
sense
of
now.
blind belief are long past. My comrades, Why must ye falter?
And it's at this point that we should talk about Marika's motivations, her character. This is surely going to be one of those huge points of debate in the coming years, but for now, my working theory is that she wanted to discover the truth behind order and the truth behind the greater will, and she believed that bonds had to be broken so that they could be better understood. She believed that there was great meaning to be found in hardship.
Queen Marika has high hopes for us.
I got cracked
that we
glasses because of the
continue to
struggle.
struggle unto eternity.
For Lord Godfrey, his struggle ended at the end of his campaigns. According to his armor, he led the war against the giants, faced the Storm Lord alone, and then there came a moment when his last worthy enemy fell, and it was then, as the story is told, that the hue of Lord Godfrey's eyes faded. In truth, he was robbed of his grace. Then Marika sent him away.
My lord, and thy warriors, I divest each of
These
thee
shots are so
of
good.
thy grace. With thine eyes dimmed, ye will be driven from the lands between.
Bruh.
Ye will wage war in a land afar, where ye will live and die.
This became known as the Long March of the Tarnished, as Godfrey and his tarnished descendants walked away from the lands between. But Queen Marika absolutely had a plan here, that Lord Godfrey and his descendants would one day return stronger, having struggled outside of grace.
Then,
Huh.
after thy death, I will give back what I once claimed, return to the lands between, wage war, and brandish the Elden Ring, grow strong in the face of death. Warriors of my lord, Lord Godfrey.
Soon after, she found a new husband. Either that or a new husband was found for her.
When Godfrey, first Elden Lord, was hounded from the lands between, Radagon left Rennala to return to the Erdtree capital, becoming Queen Marika's second husband and king consort, taking the title of Second Elden Lord. The mystery endures to this day as to why Lord Radagon would cast Lady Rennala aside, and moreover, why a mere champion would be chosen for the seat of Elden Lord.
Whatever the case, as a part of this union, Radagon's prior 3 children with Rennala became demigod stepchildren, granted grace thanks to their new family tree. Rennala
Help me,
was
stepgod, I'm stuck in the
broken by
ring.
this, and so was her country, Leonia. The Queen's set reads, when Rennala, head of both the Academy of Raya Lucaria and the Carian royal family, lost her husband Radagon, her heart went along with him. And then those at the Academy realized that Rennala was no champion after all. In the wake of Radagon's betrayal and Rennala's poor judgment, Leonia struggled with civil war, with the Academy of Raya Lucaria on one side and the Carian royals on the other.
Oh shit.
And it's here, during the age of the Erdtree, that Lunar Princess Rani, daughter of Rennala and Radagon, stole a fragment of the Rune of Death.
It happened during the golden age of the Erdtree, long before the shattering of the Elden Ring. Someone stole a fragment of the Rune of Death from Malekith, the Black Blade.
As mentioned previously, Malekith was Marika's shadow, and he had sealed destined death in a black blade. Then a fragment, only a fragment, of this Rune of Death was stolen. And once this happened, Malekith went a step further in protecting destined death. He bound the blade within his own flesh, such that none might rob death ever again. It was too late, however. This fragment of the Rune of Death was used immediately, that night, to kill a demigod, Marika's own son, Godwyn the Golden.
That was the first recorded death of a demigod in all history, and it became the catalyst. Soon, the Elden Ring was smashed, and thus sprang forth the war known as the Shattering.
Is graphics
Now,
though? Hello?
There is a lot of really credible evidence that Marika was behind this plot
Bro,
to
this
have
is
a
so
fragment
sick.
of the Rune of Death stolen. There's also a ton of evidence that Marika is behind the entirety of your tarnished quest, but we'll talk about that in another video. For now, all you really need to know in terms of the timeline at least, is this. After the marriage of Marika and Radagon, and after a fragment of the Rune of Death was stolen, Marika went on to shatter the Elden Ring, and Radagon attempted to repair it, to no avail. The Elden Ring had been broken into runes, some great and some small.
Oh,
No, it's said that Lord Radagon harbored a secret.
that's the fucking runes
A
are?
famed
Oh, dude.
sculptor of the Erdtree capital was once summoned to render Lord Radagon's likeness in giant stature, when he glimpsed the skeleton in Radagon's closet. And as such, it's said the great statue harbors his secret too.
Of course, the huge twist in Elden Ring is that Radagon is Marika, or depending on what you believe, he became her, for she knew it was going to happen.
In Marika's own words, O Radagon, leal hound of the Golden Order,
How the fuck
thou
does
art
that make
yet
sense?
to become me. Thou art yet to become a god. Let us be shattered, both. Mine other self.
You can tell when From Software is keeping something a little bit open-ended, and of everything in Elden Ring's lore, this will also go on to be one of the biggest unknowns as we move forward. For example, the wording, "Thou art yet to become me," reinforces that Marika and Radagon were two separate entities before the shattering. However, in contrast, there is also evidence that Radagon was always part of Marika. For example, Enya says that
The demigods are each and all the direct offspring of Queen Marika.
But how can this be if Radagon married Renala and had those demigod children? The only way that makes sense is if Radagon was always Marika and he just went over there to seduce Renala long ago. I'll present more concrete theories in the future, but
So-
on this matter, the most important thing is, what do you think?
So
While you can figure out a ton of Elden Ring's story,
this is when you fight this boss. This is the final boss, right? And the name is Radagon, or is it Marika? This is fucking Murica, baby. Are you a red-blooded Murican and you fight? I bet Radagon has a massive dick. Yeah. First half of the final encounter. So is the first half Radagon, the second half Marika? That's when you find out that they're one and the same. Or wait, doesn't it turn into like a dragon? Or yeah, okay, straight into Elden Beast. Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. See, like I've seen bits and pieces because I don't care. But you know, I've seen this and that. And Elden Beast cheats. Yeah, Elden Beast is a motherfucker.
not all of it is open to
I
interpretation.
think I've seen like people like
Certain
reacting
things
to the
are,
ending or
and
some
this
shit.
is one of them.
I
And your
saw
interpretation
no, it
is
was
a big part
Asmund
of
Gold.
what
I
makes
saw him
this
beat
story
it. That's
special.
what it was.
At any rate, the union of Radagon
That's
and
what it was.
Marika seems to be a union of two fundamental opposing laws
Wake up.
of the Golden Order. We mentioned these laws earlier, actually. There's the law of causality, and Marika is an agent of cause and effect. And there's the law of regression, as Radagon is a character who aspires to be complete and regress together. So I have a theory that forcing these two beings that represent these concepts together would have corrected Marika's deviance. But even so, she was imprisoned in the Erdtree for the crime of the Shattering.
Marika's trespass demanded a heavy sentence. But even in shackles, she remains a god and the vision's vessel.
The conjoined Radagon and Marika even had two demigod children of their own, Mikola and Millennia. These two children were born afflicted. Mikola was cursed with eternal childhood, and Millennia...
Yo, what's up, Alex? How you doing? Thank you for the 28-month resub. What's up, bruh?
harbored a horrific rot within. Even so, these two children
Wait,
were both afflicted. Mikola was cursed with eternal childhood.
don't tell me that's the little girl that's always talking to you at the like bonfires and shit.
And Millennia harbored a horrific rot within. Even so, these two children were
Making
both
some food?
chosen
Nice,
as
enjoy it.
Empyreans. They were immensely sacred beings and eligible to inherit godhood from the Greater Will. Perhaps the Greater Will was just desperate to find a worthy successor.
Bruh, that's what
and
Radon
indeed,
again?
in the
That
Shattering
fight is
War
fucking
to come,
crazy.
Many would try to claim the shards of the Elden Ring and they would try to take the throne, including, of course, the Tarnished, who returned from their long march at long last, which we'll talk about in the next main lore video. I should probably also mention here that if you become a patron, you'll see upcoming lore videos early, as that's one of the rewards you get if you pledge to the $3 tier. And if you think my channel really adds a lot of value to the Souls games for you to the point where you pledge $20, then in this new tier you'll receive a new mug every 3 months that has a unique design on it, to do with the games by From Software. There are 4 to collect. The first one you'll get is inspired by Dark Souls, then Elden Ring, then Sekiro, and finally Bloodborne. And they all have fantastic art that I worked on with an amazing artist named Chu. But anyway, I figured this is the right place to end this video because the information here is going to be overwhelming. I bet it probably was too overwhelming, you know? It took me ages to commit these names and the relationships they had with other characters to memory, so I hope you guys are doing
finish
all right.
this?
One thing that helped me a lot was that we designed
well, Zelda comes out Friday, so probably never.
Map with pretty much all of Elden Ring's lore, all of its item descriptions, all of its dialogues, all of the relationships between characters that we can think of. We added all of this together, and it helped a ton in learning about the story and visualizing it all. And one day I will make this asset available to you all, because I think after doing it, I think this is the quintessential way to piece together the story, and I think giving you guys this asset eventually will make that accessible for people. So I'm really excited about that.
Did you ever play this, Bracey? I don't remember.
And Zard for accepting the paid task of helping me put all the raw data into this mind map so that I could better understand everything. I want to thank Paragod for fulfilling all of my footage requests and creating so many cinematic scenes for this video. And
yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so much fucking work involved in this video.
John Devlin for the incredible thumbnail. And of course, thank you for watching. There are some really exciting things ahead, and I actually believe this might be the best story that From Software have ever put together. I just think not only are there so many amazing item descriptions, but
Jesus the fuck out of it, didn't we all? Didn't we all?
So many moments where you piece together the story and have like a eureka moment, and I'm enjoying it so much. But now I'm gonna go and play the game a little bit because I've been editing this video for too long. So, see you next time.
I will give you a like. I will give you a subscribe. We might have to watch more Elden Ring lore, honestly. That was fire. That was really cool. Should we watch the Let Me Solo Her lore before we continue? We might as well, right? Well, we're on
is the latest entry in From Software's
we're on Elden Ring. Okay, so this is what? Story of Let Me Solo Her Explained. Elden Ring by Evan F. 1997.
Of unbelievably difficult games that went from once cult classics in Dark and Demon Souls to now becoming such a powerhouse of a collection that as of March 19th of 2022, Elden Ring has sold over 12 million copies worldwide.
I turned up the volume a little bit. Let me know if it's okay.
There are hundreds of hours of content to
Seems
play,
a bit more quiet.
and so much variety in terms of builds and progression that this game is timeless, just like the past.
I think
From
I
Software
found some
games
bears. What
in
the
similarity
fuck?
To it. But I don't think anyone outside of your small percentage of Souls legends were prepared for one boss in particular. You may know that this company has a history of game philosophy.
It's talking about millennia, I assume?
Player up against tremendous odds in the hope of giving players the sense of accomplishment by overcoming those odds. Names that you may be familiar with, like Ornstein and Smo, the Fume Knight, the Nameless King, the Orphan of Kos, and Sword Saint Ishin, all shared this philosophy.
Holy shit, I actually knew like 4 out of 5.
Elden Ring is a different animal that has different rules. You see, there is one boss in particular I would argue From Software pushed to be harder than every other boss we have listed. Hell, harder than any boss that From Software has ever made. With so little room for error, players quickly felt something had to be wrong. This boss's name is Malenia, Blade of Mikola, and not only was she in all of the promotional material for the game to establish her notoriety, she also lets you know her name every time she kills you to cement that you'll never forget that very same torturous name.
I am Malenia, Blade of Mikola.
This boss has been criticized by many for being too hard. Some say she's fair, while others say From may have jumped the gun. Well, in the face of all
Too
danger
easy.
and all doubt,
Yeah, is the audio okay? I told you I bought the game, played for so 10 minutes so far, had a blast. Nice, dude. You were almost done.
Angel. This is the story of how one player took the narrative of the hardest boss From Software has ever made and flipped it on its head. This is the story of life when the narrative was full of rot.
Thank you.
This is the story.
What's that desk doing there?
Let Me Solo Her.
Only died about 15 times. I'm doing great. Oh yeah, you got this in the bag, dude. Dude, I hit like just at the wrong spot. What the hell? This is so epic. Jesus Christ.
Let Me Solo Her story couldn't have been made so big without a boss that fit the bill for that to happen.
True.
Obvious spoiler warnings for those who haven't finished their first playthrough.
Alex, spoiler warning?
After hours
Shizzy cosplay who let me solo her? Yeah. I mean, obviously, you know, just another tryhard trying to be Shiz. I'm used to it, dude.
Everyone's first playthrough
That
of
happens when you're the
Elden Ring,
best.
there is an optional boss met all the way up north of the map. Players
She's
must
optional?
first find both halves
I mean,
of the
that's a good
secret
thing, but
medallion, which can be used to unlock a hidden path through the Grand Lift. If the player finishes a puzzle in a town and lights all the stations, they can take a portal on the north side stairs. They are then transported to the Hallowed Tree and have to fight in the toughest area of the game. Platforming, difficult enemies, and a true Souls experience
I
of
hate
getting
those ants.
killed around corners and through walls. After beating Loretta and making your way through the castle, through swamps of rot and the Erd Tree mini-bosses,
What a
the
cool
player
looking
ends
game.
up in the roots of the city. To the left is a large fiery orange flower, and down the stairs is the hardest boss I have ever faced in a video game. Now, I have beaten every boss in every FromSoft game. I have beaten Day 1 raids in Destiny 2. I have killed Sigrun, Queen of the Valkyries in God of War on the hardest difficulty. But this boss was just absurd. Very little room for error, almost no time to heal, and a boss that heals herself every time you are hit.
That's what I was just about
these
to ask,
attacks could already be seen as ridiculous,
Oh.
but fair. There is only one that most players agree is way too much. What is called the Waterfowl Dance attack sends a burst of her katana in 3 different outputs. Melania leaps in the air, then slices and dices twice, then jumps on the other side of the player to slice and dice again. Now this has iframes, but only just enough that the player would need the perfect timing to dodge these with the correct directional inputs. This attack, if hit by most of it, will kill the player. If you do survive with the perfect timing of iframes, you may wonder how you pulled it off. And if you opt to run away with the perfect timing, you'll probably be hit, but you'll at least be able to heal. And the boss will heal.
I'm annoyed
a
just
lot
seeing
off of
this.
So now
You never
you've
saw
been
this, Chris? You're
punished
too
for
good.
doing what you thought was okay. I want to ask you who's watching, whether you have fought this boss or not. Do you believe that this attack is fair?
No.
Is this something that is too much? Or is this acceptable? Whether fair or not, I think it only adds to Melania's notoriety around the community and fandom. Oh, and she has a phase 2 with even more aggression.
Fuck off. Of course she does.
Oh.
Of course she does. What the fuck? All that? Fuck you, FromSoft. Toxic Actual.
Joseph Anderson, a very well-renowned critic, made his first video in years discussing Elden Ring and From Software's boss design, especially in the late game. Anderson used an example of how many attacks could be combined in a row with no predictable rhythm, and how it only served to hurt the game, since pulling off a 3-combo attack may result in more RNG than it does actual flow state of a fight. This has been debated back and forth by the Elden Ring community, and fans and longtime fans alike have had the back and forth as a result. I think time will be the best judgment, and as we learn how these bosses work in the future, community perception will probably change on bosses for better or worse. A lot of people opted to use the now infamous Rivers of Blood build, since it's a fast combo with a ton of damage and stagger potential. And it brings up another debate. Should bosses in From Software games force a player to rethink their builds? Should every weapon be acceptable to use? Well, seeing Zero Lenny pull off a torch kill on the boss makes it seem doable with any build. But Lenny is a legend who's been doing these types of challenges forever. So should it take that kind of player to pull off a kill with any weapon? Well, one type of player did pull it off under their own terms. A faceless player, sporting a pot on his head and wielding double katanas. A player so dedicated to being the hero when all seemed just so rotted. A player named Let Me Solo Her. Let Me Solo Her. What a perfectly fitting name for someone who's ready to take on Elden Ring's hardest boss. On the surface, Let Me Solo Her is just some dumb internet meme. And you're right. But there's so many layers to this one. Let's get started with the story. On April 12th of 2022, Reddit user Sazed813 makes a post titled, "Here's to an absolute legend, let me solo her." Sazed would go on to describe the struggles of Malenia and how when all hope was lost, he looked to a summon sign on the ground, a way for players to enjoy co-op and get help with the bosses that they typically can fight together. The name Let Me Solo Her popped up on the ground, and in that moment, Sazed knew to back away and let our hero take the fight.
Oh my god.
There was a man wearing nothing but a jar on his head and holding two katanas named Let Me Solo Her. I considered against it, but I was curious, and who am I to deny him his wish? He was flawless and put all my attempts to shame. I definitely didn't kill Melina, but either way, she's dead.
After this post started to blow up on Reddit, Let Me Solo Her himself chimed in to show the world who the unsung hero truly was. In a post titled, "Let Me Solo Her," our pot-headed hero spoke about the situation, saying that, quote,
"If you've been playing Elden Ring and have tried to fight Malenia on PC, you might have crossed paths with a summon called Let Me Solo Her. I've been helping countless Tarnished in their quest to defeat Malenia by going butt naked, except for a jar on my head. Please enjoy this video of me soloing
what
Malenia
a fucking
as a
monster,
third
dude.
Summon. My sign will be down for Desperate Tarnished. As always."
Bruh, so cracked.
This now infamous video of Let Me Solo Her not taking a single hit the whole fight, teasing the boss, not spamming very overpowered weapon arts, and instead opting to toy with the boss, has now garnered the attention of well over 1 million eyes. And the world watched as our modern day hero in games shook the playing field. This story went everywhere on the internet, and there's no short reason for that. Let Me Solo Her didn't just kill Malenia, he toyed with the hardest boss in the game, all the while being mostly naked. Making your character naked in From Software games is usually a sign that you're so experienced with the game and have mastered every aspect of it so much that you don't even have to worry about being hit. And in the words of our legend, Let Me Solo Her, in an IGN article, he says that, quote,
"Why wear armor if you don't plan on getting hit at all?"
Let Me Solo Her would quickly take over the internet as a newly established icon. A player so against the grain of the narrative that has been set for Souls-like players, and against a debatably broken boss too. Fan art would quickly take over the internet. 3D models
Bruh,
of him
those
too.
are so good.
Videos all over the internet would pop up of people summoning in Let Me Solo Her himself. The pot on his head may have marked the love for the NPC Alexander, or if you have not seen it, the new global Twitch emote rightfully named Pot Friend. But the meaning of not showing his face adds even more weight. We have timeless heroes in stories that never reveal their face, and Let Me Solo Her not revealing his and opting to keep the pot on only adds to the legacy. Now, Let Me Solo Her's journey wasn't all perfect.
I think she was getting
as he would go on
unintended
to
amounts of
explain
health
in
when
the
she hit you.
IGN
Really?
article that it
Did it ever get
originally
patched
took
or
him
anything?
over 242 attempts to slay this boss. Now, a lot of us would opt to
That's
quit
240
in that
more than you,
moment
Chris.
right there, or opt to just cheese her with some very overpowered builds. But he stayed persistent, learned every single move, and overcame the boss the way we can all hope. And now, Let Me Solo Her has lost count of how many players he has helped defeat Melania, with the
Ace me on my
estimates
first
in the
try too?
3 to 400s. Another thing to note about being summoned to help another player is that the boss will also scale in health to fit the amount of players in the lobby. So in the legendary
course.
video, Let Me Solo Her was fighting a harder version of Melania with desync and lag to match, an unforgiving hitbox, a naked character so one hit could mean he was dead, and opting to not use very strong weapon art. It feels like Let Me Solo Her is truly a sensei of Elden Ring. Quickly, there was copycats of our hero, and everyone in the community wanted to be him, helping out in fights and being an overall friend in the community. There was even an article saying that Let Me Solo Her bailed on someone for trying to help him in the fight. It was quickly proven to not be true, as our hero said he would never bail on anyone. One day, he hopes to move on to a second game, but has appreciated the admiration from Souls fans as the community gets criticized for being gatekeepy and rude. But it's stories like these that prove what you hear is not always true. I think there are always dark
That's
sides to every
fucking awesome.
community in any walk of life. But players like Let Me Solo Her just opt to prove that the world is a good place.
No, it's
we
not.
just need to summon that side of it.
Okay,
As
that's
for
funny.
Let Me Solo Her's channel, Klein Suboy, he has only posted one video since then, but I plan on watching the legend develop even further. This is not just a feel-good story for
I
Elden
like that it
Ring,
wasn't even Elden
even
Ring.
further.
It showed that it
This
was
is-
Dark Souls. I don't know if you guys saw because of the
not-
captions.
But I plan
Actually, Chris, you remember how we have the new whiteboard function? You'll notice that right here, it's actually Dark Souls rather than
watching the legend
Elden Ring.
develop even further. This is not just a feel-good story for Elden Ring. This is a good story for the world. In a time where games can feel so toxic and gatekept, Klein was able to show us what it truly means to be a gamer, to pick someone up when they're struggling. So, here's to the legend of Let Me Solo Her one more time. Our modern day Leroy Jenkins, a hero with a pot on his head. I want to thank you all for watching.
that
And if you
ending-
did enjoy this video, a subscription
ending
would be
kinda-
greatly
kinda fucked it
appreciated.
for me, but-
I know my audience is used to watching my Destiny content, but I want to start branching out and expanding on gaming community stories across the board.
Yeah, 2
I
million
hope you
views.
like this one, and as a reminder, I do stream on Twitch, as well as having a Discord for all the best
Bruh.
moments in gaming to talk about. Thank you, everyone. Please follow Klein and his journey, and until next time, have a great day.
All right, next. This is not so much whatchamacallit. Hey, oh shit, do we want the trailers or the cutscenes? Uh-oh. I guess we want the cutscenes, right? This was just I got reminded because this popped up, Summit reacting to the cutscenes. I was like, right, I haven't seen these in forever. I just remembered that they're super fire. So let's just watch them. I mean, I guess theoretically it's lore because we're like learning the story of this game, but I don't remember shit. And obviously I want to throw in a little Star Wars, assuming as we just played Jedi Survivor. Dude, those Elden Ring videos were really, really good. That was awesome. Oh, I found one video, chat, where one was a Diablo lore, which we might check, because I played a little Diablo 2 back in the day, like 20 years ago. And that's it. And then there was one where in 20 minutes, this person apparently does all of the 4K Warhammer lore. I'm curious to see, if anything, just how the hell they pulled it off. So I think we'll do those next, and then we'll see what time looks like. Long time ago. Let me actually skip this part to hopefully not get this video blasted. 4,000 years before the rise of the Galactic Empire, the Republic verges on collapse. Darth Malak, last surviving apprentice of the Dark Lord Revan, has unleashed an invincible Sith armada upon an unsuspected galaxy. Crushing all resistance, Malak's war of conquest has left the Jedi Order scattered and vulnerable, as countless knights fall in battle and many more swear allegiance to the new Sith Master. Alright. In the skies above the Outer Rim world of Taurus, a Jedi battle fleet engages the forces of Darth Malak in a desperate effort to halt the Sith's galactic domination. Alright, so hopefully we're safe on music and shit. Or just in case. Just in case. Because that song obviously is a risky one. Stop yawning. I can't stop yawning. To be fair, I slept like 20 minutes the past 2 days, so. Alright, that's loud as fuck. This part is supposed to be loud, I assume. So we'll see how it is after this cutscene. Wait, this is on IGN? Oh. I didn't know that they did videos like this of all the cutscenes. Bro, the audio is so blown out. It's so overly loud. This is absolutely not the video I was thinking of. Yeah, okay. Hold up. Hold up. This is not the one. We want this one. I guess it's cinematic trailers. So, was it that? I'm so confused. I guess it's the cinematic trailers. Okay, I think that's what it was. That's my bad. I flubbed. I flubbed, chat, but it's okay.
Ancient birthplace of the Sith. We believed ruins were all that remained of their evil empire.
I swear, I had no idea what was in those crates. I'm innocent. You were smuggling Sith artifacts, Captain.
It's Darth Maul.
Fine, keep the artifacts. Just give me back my ship.
Give me back my son. These graphics, what the fuck? Bro, this game came out... was it Star Wars The Old Republic? This came out in 2011. That's actually newer than I thought it was.
I sense
I thought it was like 20 years old, not 10.
a great darkness.
It's just my cock, babe. What? Of course it's a great darkness. It's nighttime, huh?
Sith Empire has returned. We must warn the Republic.
Our shuttles can't outrun those fighters.
Well, guess who's got the fastest ship in the sector?
Ooh. How's the audio now, chat? I'm gonna ask every video. I know I'm annoying. But it's better that than the video being shit. Never seen the sun just like me. He's a gamer, he's a gamer. Slow-mo walk, look at him. Sorry, spaceman, but I come from America. Audio do be? Alright, thanks, Booby. I'm gonna stand for a bit. Like the guy from Dark Watch, that game do beat? What the hell's Dark Watch?
She fly? She's not pretty, but she's tough.
Bruh. My man just drifted a ship, you know what I mean?
This is our fight.
That was fire. Dude, I gotta turn off my fan. I'm actually kinda cold. Bro, this guy is so sick.
T7, cut the iron cannons.
Yeah, that they made Transformers games. Dark Watch is a vampire hunting game. It was rippy. That rings no bells. Bruh. I remember this fight just having the sickest. That has the sickest choreography. Bro, it's so sick.
Go, Satil. You must walk a different path.
Bruh. The drip. Plate War for Cybertron? I feel like I heard that one's good.
On those guns, now!
What the fuck just happened to the audio? Why did it just... Am I crazy or did the audio just go to shit?
Go, Satil.
Am I crazy?
You must walk a different path.
Imagine trying to get a haircut, couldn't be me. I do it myself. Yeah, right there the audio just tanked, right? What the fuck was that Coltrane voice actor? Hopefully it's like just this one part. Maybe this I wonder if the person did it to avoid copyright or something. Hopefully it's just like, I hope it's not the rest of the video. Okay, it was just, that was so weird. Sounds like the Gears guy. Look at my boy. The drip. This guy's a fucking beast. This choreography is so crazy. Never forget. Too soon, too soon. Star Wars is just so sick, you know?
They've escaped.
It's just goated. Blaster sounds though?
No, Malgus. This is only the beginning. Yes. After 1,000 years, Korriban is ours again. Welcome home.
Okay. Oh. Sith just
For centuries,
savages, bro.
Alderaan stood as a beacon of hope in the Republic. But the Empire came. And with one savage strike...
That voice. Imagine if I streamed with that voice. Thank you for the sub. I came too,
Time is
bro.
running out, as few are left to face the enemy. For those that remain, there is but one choice. We must fight to victory or death for the Republic!
Okay, now it's fucking loud. It's gonna be one of those videos, huh? What's the voice cosplayers do when they're in a group with a girl? True actual. Man, I got him, I got it, I'm cracking shit. What's up, baby? You play often? It's still mad loud. Bruh, it's Suda, just hitting him with the puh. It's so crazy seeing a bunch of Sith together, right? Because we've only ever seen... Actually, is it a bunch or is it just two? Because there's the rule of two, or the law of two or whatever, where it's always an apprentice and a master. This guy's mask is so fire. And now it's like super quiet. Come on, man. Yeah, okay, there's quite a few Sith. What the fuck? Audio balancing not once, dude, I'm insane. I'm doing the fucking mixing. I'm gonna sit back down because this is This one's a challenge. Imagine mixing and mastering. Oh. Oh, you do be the worst in everything these days. To be fair, this is old and probably just like a random person just ripping it from different YouTube videos. Oh, they're going in on this guy. Actual Pog Stormtrooper, right? That's what happens when they don't use guns and miss every shot. They go ham. You okay? The audio literally stopped completely? This video is a thing, huh? Oof.
While the sacrifices are heavy,
Alright, Freddy.
we fight knowing that.
It's a shame this game is too nerd for me.
Can ignite the fires of hope and restore peace across the galaxy.
Advanced PC gamer type of game, yeah. I don't know why I can't stop yawning. It's fucking infuriating.
Our time has come. For 300 years, we prepared, we grew stronger. While you rested in your cradle of power, believing your people were safe and protected.
Dumpy? Bro, what the hell?
You were trusted to lead the Republic, but you were deceived. As our powers of the dark side have blinded you.
Bro, Star Wars is just so fire.
You assumed no force could challenge you. And now, finally, we have returned.
So sick. Yo, this guy's a fucking monster, man.
You were deceived. And now your Republic shall fall.
Damn. I mean, I just walked in, clapped all the Jedi, and dipped.
A man can have anything if he is willing to sacrifice. With your birth comes a solemn vow. You will have nothing.
Okay.
Your privilege is the dirt. In the darkness, only ambition will guide you.
I wonder why there's a yellow.
The oaths you swear, the promises you make, they are yours alone. Your freedom will be the wars you wage.
I was just about to turn it up, but I think we're good.
Your birthright, the losses you suffer.
Oh, she's fucking cool.
Your entitlement, the pain you endure. And when darkness finds you, you will face it alone.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Where the fuck is this live action? I'm saying, right? This is so fire. We need more spin-off movies like this, right? Like, instead of just focusing on like a Skywalker for 3 movies or whatever, just like random shit like this, like Rogue One. Stuff like that.
Come with me, son.
Is the dad evil and he was waiting and hoping that one of them would be or some shit? Hmm. Just not letting her use the force or some shit? Crying, screaming. Was she the sister? Disney, where's this, right? Bruh. Watch, it's gonna be the whole thing where, like, she's the strongest one.
Another. Fight.
What does she look like, Ray? She looks more to me like Wasp. Whatever her name is. Yeah, he's got to be bad, right? And he just wants like Sith children or some shit. She's like that Mass Effect woman that you showed me the other day. Alright, let's take it easy with the volume, bro. Bruh. Got me a Mamato status. Oh.
Valen, come on.
Bro, what's this fucking deal? You heard that creepy ass laughter? Fuck that, dude. I heard David Fillion. Do you be the guy? Maybe he could show us this stuff. I don't know. He's the one who helps get Star Wars back on track. Oh yeah. Or sorry, did I say it's David Fillion? David Filoni. Dave Filoni. I need to learn how to read. Dude, this is so fire. Bruh. So yeah, you purposely made 2 Sith children, I guess? He was the apprentice to George, took his teachings, as you know. Okay.
Focus, Sahar.
There you go.
I did it! Did you see? Wow.
I know it is difficult to accept, but the Force has chosen you.
Man, these are so fucking cool. Bruh. The choreography is so crazy. This in Halo Wars animation, I'm telling you, dude, true.
Yes, Master Orr.
True. They do be luring it up.
Malchus. Traitor. Go, now!
That's true, it's Malgus, right? He's like... Isn't he like arguably the strongest of all time? Some shit. We were talking about that the other day. He's fucking huge.
Sahar? Is that you?
Kylo would destroy him.
You're too late, Malchus.
These graphics, though.
Focus, Sahar.
What the hell?
I did it! Did you see? Wow.
Will you be taking both children?
No. The brother
shows little connection with the Force. Zahar. The Force.
Hell for force protection, by the way. Didn't look at the ground, by the way.
I sense your past, Padawan. Your pain. Your fear. This is how the Sith and Jedi maintain control. Revealing the ways of the Force to some, and keeping it from others.
Zahar! Don't listen to him!
How many were left behind? So that the Jedi could play God.
Imagine how much this cost to make. Dude, it must have been crazy. That scene was the best. I was pogging out in the theater. Which one?
You could have saved my brother.
What?
Was I chosen by the Force? Or you?
Now's not the time.
Do you know what it is your master just destroyed?
Zahar, listen to me.
A machine built to find those the Jedi didn't deem worthy.
Silence! Give it to me. Now, Padawan!
It's not too late. Give me the plans.
No!
We can still find your brother.
I've only ever protected you. You must trust me.
Oh yeah, with the red sand and shit. Yeah.
Zahar, I'm sorry.
He really do be.
All your life you've been in a cage, Padawan. When you're ready, break free.
He be him, dude. This guy's goated. Just goes around clapping everybody's cheeks. Bruh. You do be. Alright, that was fire. Gamers will play 2.57 million subscribers. What the fuck? Wait, when the hell? This came out a year ago? Huh? Yeah, 2022 updated 4K. What the actual fuck? That's so random, but hey, you know what? That was fire. I hope you guys enjoyed that. All right, let's do the entire 40K Warhammer lore. Like I said, the guy does it in 20 minutes apparently. So let's check this out.
G'day, guys and gal. You'd think I would have made one of these videos by now,
You
especially.
say guys and girl?
G'day, guys and gal. You'd think I would have made one of these videos by now, especially since I'm one of the only guys that understands that ADHD-friendly video lengths are a big vibe, and the fact that everyone who seems to make an entire 40K lore timeline video seems to get an absolute shitload of views. But alas, I just haven't, I suppose. Until now. Today is the day we explain over 300 novels and over 30 years
I just wanted to play the Gears Warhammer game. Huh?
pretty short video. I'm obviously going to be pretty brutal with what content I actually provide, since
Skip.
this video could literally go
I'm
for
really looking
24
forward to
hours and
Bolt
still
Gun,
be
by the way. So, I'll show it on stream for anybody who hasn't seen Bolt Gun. The only Warhammer games that I play are whatchamacallit, Vermintide, one of my all-time favorite series. Check this, check Bolt Gun. Tell me this ain't fire. Wait, what? Why is this looking like this? Ah, bro, GTFO out of here, dog. Look at this. Like old school Doom type shit. Wasn't there also that like Space Marine or whatever that's like a third person shooter that looks fire? Did that come out yet? I don't remember. 23rd. Was it Warhammer Space? Yeah, remember this? Is there a gameplay? Yeah, gameplay reveal.
Against the horrors that dwell in the dark.
Oh, is this what you're talking about? The Gears one?
While we draw breath, we stand.
Is it Rahul Kohli voicing this? This or Bolt Gun? It might be Bolt Gun actually.
We fight.
Bro, sign me the fuck up. This looks sick. This one is drippy. I'm saying, is it out yet? I don't remember. Alpha footage at the Game Awards last year.
We are the angels of death.
I noticed that parry.
We are the blade drawn against the endless night. Nothing will survive our wrath.
Space Marine 2. Just says 2023. Okay, let's check this out. Entire Warhammer 40k timeline in 20
But
minutes.
if there's anything I do well, it's milk my
Try
country
the first
of origin
one?
for
True.
views and compress the shit out of stuff. We will be covering from
True.
60 million BC all the way to the 42nd millennium, highlighting the key events, key characters and whatnot to make even the most non-Warhammer person, such as, you know, anyone above a 7.5, know what is actually going on. The point of this video is for you to be able to learn about 40k lore or send it to a mate and be like, oi dickhead, and get them on board our degeneracy train that is plummeting straight towards hell. And yeah, on the off chance this does end up blowing up and getting 1 million views, I have a store with custom 3D party minis that slap pretty hard, a Patreon with live action
238,000, you're close.
and some merch which I think is pretty cute. What? Man's gotta make a living. Let's get into it. The thing about
That was
Warhammer
cool.
40k is that it's considered to be an alternate future of our current reality, with a few alterations, sure. But as far as Warhammer is concerned, you currently watching this video is canon to the 40k universe. Our tale begins 60 million years ago, where life first started giving it a genuine crack after the bang went big. Many races evolved, and for whatever reason, most of these races were OP as hell, like the Crave. However, chief amongst these were the old ones, toad-looking motherfuckers who traveled the galaxy and seeded life onto countless worlds. They were all powerful as they were
Let's get
able
a
to
zipper
tap
on
into
its
the
face.
power of an alternate dimension called the Warp, a dimension of pure energy and emotion, unbound by the laws of physics and with limitless potential. The Warp at
Racist
this time
mock
was
ass.
calm, friendly, and bountiful. Most entities that died would have their souls travel here to either be reincarnated or just kind of chill and float around like a spectral jellyfish, not a care in the world. However, there was another race that evolved, the Necron tier, and boy, they had it rough. Their world was getting spanked by solar radiation on the daily, and I guess they forgot to evolve to deal with it, as their lives were basically one big skin cancer. They died young, and their entire culture was pretty depressing. Despite this, they were quite successful as a species, creating dark matter spaceships and carving out their own galactic empire. However, despite escaping their cancer-ridden homeworld, their lives remained pitifully short, as they only evolved to live for a short time. They eventually encountered the old ones and were like, fuck yes, please teach us how to make sunscreen and become immortal and shit. but the Old Ones refused. The Necrontyr were not their creation, and if they didn't create something, they didn't really give a shit about it. The Necrontyr tried to wage war against the Old Ones, but that would be like a dry spittle of cum trying to take down the cocaine bear. The Necrontyr got clapped and driven into the corner of the galaxy. While they had a sook, they discovered a large entity draining a nearby sun. The entity was not sentient, yet it was clearly powerful as hell. It was a Catan, a god of the material universe which was created by the Big Bang. However, in its current form, it was basically just a big galactic jellyfish that ate stars. The Necrontyr were like, fuck it, and they built large mecha bodies for the Catan to inhabit, thus giving them sentience. Well, it turns out the Catan were fucking assholes, hence the Catan tricked the Necrontyr into sacrificing their body and souls in machines that the Catan then fed on. The Necrontyr were promised immortality and a release from their depressing lives, which was partially true. However, now the entire Necrontyr race were soulless robotic slaves to the will of the Catan. They were now the Necrons. As the Old Ones rivaled the Catan's power and would eventually control the entire galaxy, the Catan led their Necron armies against the Old Ones.
Mass Effect lore?
The Old Ones had not prepared for
can see
hectic
if there's any
war, hence their army
dance ones for sure.
However, through a bit of hectic shit, such as the creation of the mighty
This one is
warriors,
definitely cramming too much too fast, but it's interesting, so we'll keep it going. But I feel like I'm not gonna remember a single fucking thing by the time we're done.
The Elder, an Old One creation, figuring out how to summon their gods onto the battlefield, and the Old Ones bending the warp to its will and using it as a weapon, the Old Ones were able to fight
is too
back.
snarky.
A shitload of people died, many worlds were ruined, and pretty much all of the Old Ones were eventually killed. However, in return, numerous Catan were shattered and weakened to a point where the Necrons were able to rise up against the Catan overlords, shooting them with a bunch of Death Stars and shit and turning them into Pokemon/super efficient batteries. See, they wanted to destroy the Catan, but as the Catan were gods
Can't
of
register what
reality,
he's saying unless I'm paying
destroying them would
300%
destroy
attention, so
reality.
do that.
The Necrons
Still
themselves
20
were pretty
minutes.
wrecked though. Back-to-back galaxy-shattering wars does that. Hence their leader, the Silent King, ordered them all to hibernate for 60 million years, with the idea being that the galaxy would be primed for them to reconquer. See, the Elder were rising to become the dominant force, and the Silent King wasn't sure if the Necrons could beat them, so better to let the Elder Empire fizzle out than risk it all. The final act of the Silent King was to break his command module, giving the Necrons free will upon their awakening. To punish himself for leading his race into damnation, the Silent King refused to join them in slumber, choosing to travel the universe for 60 million years instead. The warp had been seriously damaged during the War in Heaven, as the conflict was called.
I thought they died
All
young.
The death, suffering, and tampering from the
Sky
Old
can't.
Ones
You guys
had
aren't
turned it
feeling
from
this
a
one?
calm
Okay.
sea of souls into a dangerous
It's fine.
maelstrom.
I feel like he's like trying too hard to be like really funny and clever, right? And it just comes off as like douchey. That's alright. You can't win them all. Mass Effect lore. Let's see what we got. The entire story so far in 26 minutes. Okay. Let's do it. Once again, IGN.
At the
How many
2020
subs
Game
do they
Awards,
have?
BioWare revealed a teaser trailer for the next game in the Mass Effect
Only
series.
600,000?
It was light on details, but the
It's
sci-fi
IGN.
universe seems to be heading back to the Milky Way after its...
Oh wait, is there IGN and then IGN Games? Is that the thing? 17 million? That makes sense. That makes more sense. Because considering they've been like #1 for like 2 decades, I figured
2017 detour to the Andromeda Galaxy. With that on the horizon and the remastered Legendary Edition just around the corner, we thought it would be a good time to recap just how we got here. To that end, here's the entire Mass Effect story so far.
Okay. And this was last year, so right, a year or two ago, it was right before the. Why are you starting with DLC? Maybe it's prequel. 1 year ago. Is it actually 1 year ago? May 10th, 2021. Holy fuck. Tomorrow it's literally 2 years. This is the thing that I hate about YouTube. Literally in 2 hours, this video will be 2 years old. But for some reason, YouTube doesn't say it's a 2-year-old video. Yeah, it feels birthday, man. For some reason, YouTube doesn't say that it's 2 years old. It says it's 1. And it's just annoying because obviously, you know, I'd rather it be closer to... Anyways. That's wild, though. Imagine.
Might have something to do with these paintings.
I mean, depending on the time that they uploaded it.
Our story actually
It
starts
might be
millions
literally
and millions of years before
birthday.
the events of Mass Effect 1. Long before humans traveled across the stars, the Milky Way was ruled by a species of giant telepathic squids known as Leviathan. Tired of seeing fledgling civilizations wiped out as their technological advances outpaced their ability to control artificial intelligence and synthetic life, the Leviathan wanted to preserve the organics and so created their own artificial intelligence called the Catalyst to find a solution. And well, guess how that turned out.
ME3 DLC again. Brilliant. Fucking audio, man.
Naturally, the Catalyst decided that the only way to preserve organic life was to harvest its DNA like crops.
It's okay
and
now,
so
right?
It predictably wiped out the Leviathan and used their genetic material to create hybrid organic synthetic
explosion was loud, but besides that, we're good.
And built a network of mass relays that allowed spacefaring
Hold up. He's just about to talk about Reapers. I've heard Reaper, but I don't know what that is.
And so it predictably wiped out the Leviathan and used their genetic material to create hybrid organic synthetic constructs known as Reapers, and built a network of mass relays that allowed spacefaring civilizations to travel instantly between star systems and also helped the Catalyst harvest organics more efficiently. This cycle went on for millions of years, with countless species being wiped out and their DNA harvested to make more Reapers. In the final cycle before Mass Effect 1, a species called the Protheans managed to protect remnants of their technology and culture, which species like humanity found and used to accelerate their arrival into the galactic community, leading them to believe that the Protheans were responsible for technology like the mass relays in the Citadel. Humans were the last, quote, developed species to arrive in Citadel space, and after a bunch of backstory with stuff like the First Contact Wars, Mass Effect 1 kicks off with galactic society being led by three main groups: the diplomatic Asari, militaristic Turians, and Solarian scientists, plus a galaxy's worth of politics and conflict already underway. You've got the inventive Quarians, who had become refugees from their own homeworld after creating a race of sentient machines known as the Geth that led a deadly planet-wide uprising, hashtag Leviathan was right. Then there's the more barbarous Krogan species that have been uplifted from their pre-spaceflight days to fight for the Solarians against a brood of monstrous space bugs known as the Rachni, but then the Solarians infected them with a sterility plague called the Genophage to prevent their own spread and eventual rebellion. Yeah, it was a lot.
The Arcturus Prime relays in range.
What's the audio,
Initiating
bro?
Transmission sequence.
Why is it
Anyways,
so loud
after
now?
all this, now begins the first Mass
Every
Effect
video
game.
tonight, dude.
Commander Yorane
Except the Elden Ring
Shepard
one.
is a soldier in the Systems Alliance being considered for the Citadel's Special Tactics and Reconnaissance Unit, aka Spectre. Basically the equivalent of a sci-fi Jack Bauer. With their trainee badge firmly in place, they accompany the Turian Spectre Nihilus to retrieve a Prothean beacon from the human colony of Eden Prime, but quickly discover that the Geth had invaded the colony accompanied by a massive ship that they'd never seen before. Spoiler, it's a Reaper. On their way to the beacon, the two are betrayed by their fellow Spectre, Saren, who kills Nihilus. Shepard manages to prevent the destruction of the entire colony, but upon reaching the Prothean beacon, gets pulled into the device and, before it explodes, is shown a glimpse of an impending Reaper harvest. Shepard wakes up back on Normandy and returns to the Citadel to inform the Council of Saren's treachery. Without any tangible proof of Saren's betrayal, however, the Human Council ambassador Donna Ludina tells Shepard that they'll have to start an off-the-books investigation. This leads to Shepard meeting series mainstays like Turian C-Sec officer Garrus Vakarian, a Krogan bounty hunter Urdnot Rex, and a Quarian named Tali Zora Naraya, and culminates in the reveal that both Saren and Asari matriarch Benezia are allied with the Geth and searching for something called the Conduit, bringing them closer to the return of the Reapers.
Eden Prime was a major victory. The beacon has brought us one step closer to finding the Conduit.
Saren is stripped
I
of
mean,
the
you should have
Spectre
lowered the
authority
game
while
audio to
Shepard is
balance
inducted
with
into the
you.
ranks and named the commanding officer of the Normandy, thus beginning a group jaunt across the Milky Way to stop Saren from bringing about the end of organic life as we know it. The crew rescues Asari researcher Dr. Liara Tassoni, tracks down and defeats Benezia, who's also Liara's mom, Scandal, and is given a Prothean cipher to help understand their visions from the beacon on Eden Prime. Lastly, Shepard heads to the planet Vermeer, where Saren was breeding a new Krogan army after engineering a cure for the Genophage. Shepard decides to destroy the facility and the cure along with it. But this makes Rex none too happy, though whether he survives their disagreement depends on how good his bond is with Shepard. With the plan in motion, Shepard must choose one of his crewmates, either Ashley Williams or Caden Alenko, to help plant the bomb while the others explore the base. They discover that Saren was studying the effects of what's called Reaper indoctrination. Basically, he was afraid that they were brainwashing him to do their bidding, and he wasn't wrong. They also found and activated another Prothean beacon, completing the vision that they were originally given on Eden Prime. Then the group was greeted by Sovereign, the first of the Reapers, who reveals the truth about the Citadel and the mass relays.
There is a realm of existence so far beyond your own, you cannot even imagine it.
As the two groups prepare for evacuation, they're both pinned down by Geth, forcing Shepard to choose between saving Caden or saving Ashley, as one person is left to die when the facility blows up, and the other continues to play a role for the rest of the trilogy. Saren also shows up, and he's
True
sporting the
Lightspeed.
galaxy's
Redfall
sickest
was just a
hoverboard,
dialogue
but
that
he
was
can't
zoomed
stop
out,
Shepard
but
from destroying the base and escaping. Back on the Normandy, Liara mind melds with Shepard to see what new information the second beacon gave the commander.
the story.
And that the conduit is on a planet called Ilos. The Council is uninterested in recovering the artifact, though, choosing only to protect the Citadel, so the Normandy crew disobeys its orders and heads to Ilos on their own. There, Shepard discovers that the conduit Saren had been searching for was actually a one-way mass relay created by the Protheans that instantly transports its user to the Citadel. Saren's plans have been to use the conduit to allow Sovereign quick access to the station and bring in the Reaper fleet in one fell swoop.
Bruh.
Using the conduit, Shepard jumps back to the Citadel, where Sovereign's assault has already begun and Saren has gained control of the station. Shepard manages to convince Saren of his indoctrination, and the former Spectre kills himself as a final defense against Sovereign's influence, though the Reaper just possesses his corpse for a boss fight like an instant later.
Who allows
anyway,
this?
With Saren dealt with, Shepard must decide whether to focus the humans' attack on Sovereign or save the Galactic Council. The former choice lets the Council die.
I'm curious, does anybody in the comments say that? There's got to be other people with like headphones that are like, are you fucking kidding me? No one? Huh.
Saves them at the expense of a bunch of human lives. Regardless of their choice, Sovereign is taken out by the Alliance's fleet, and Shepard appoints either Udina or their old CO David Anderson as
And you
human
can notice,
representative
yeah,
of the
whenever
Council
it
while the
switches to
Citadel begins
gameplay, it's like
rebuild.
5 times louder.
The Council fails to take the Reaper threat seriously, however, and sends the Normandy to patrol the Terminus system for Geth, where Shepard and their crew are attacked by a mysterious vessel. The Normandy is destroyed and Shepard is killed, though their body is recovered by the mysterious Shadow Broker and their criminal cohort, eventually ending up in the hands of the even shadowier pro-human Cerberus organization thanks to a tenuous partnership with Liara T'Soni. 2 years later, Shepard wakes up in a lab thanks to the Lazarus Project, a Cerberus-funded program solely devoted to reviving Shepard. The facility is under attack by its own security bots, but Shepard escapes thanks to the help of Cerberus operatives Jacob Taylor and Miranda Lawson. The two direct Shepard to Cerberus's leader, known only as Martin Sheen, the Elusive Man, who informs them that an unknown threat is abducting human colonies in the Terminus systems, which he believes is tied to the Reapers.
We're committed to the advancement
That's true, they
and
removed
preservation of
budshots and everybody lost their
If
mind.
the Reapers are targeting us, trying to wipe us out, Cerberus will stop them.
Shepard and their squad of Cerberus operatives head to the recently attacked colony of Freedom's Progress, where they're told by a Quarian that Collectors, a race of hive-minded aliens made from the husks of Protheans,
Literally ruined the whole
responsible
trilogy.
for the missing humans. The Elusive Man tells Shepard to stop the Collectors. They'll need to pass through the Omega-4 relay, which is thought to lead to the Collector homeworld. Cerberus gives Shepard a new ship, the Normandy SR-2, modeled after the original, along with returning pilot Joker and a shackled AI called Edie, the Enhanced Defense Intelligence. From there, it's up to Shepard to gather the crew that they'll bring through the relay. Shepard's Recruitathon assembles a team of capable soldiers, tech experts, and biotic powerhouses, including the Cerberus operatives Miranda and Jacob, Solarian Dr. Morden Solus, the Drell assassin Thane, the biotic adept Jack, New Krogan heavy Grunt, a rebellious Geth called Legion, the Asari Justicar Samara, and old friends Garrus and Tally. After collecting them all, and maybe completing some loyalty missions, Shepard and the Normandy
Wasn't there a romance thing with Garrus that was like it literally carried over from the previous game or some shit?
Now, depending on your choices throughout the game so far, jumping through the relay can go really good or really, really bad. We're going to assume here that Shepard did all the necessary missions and picks the right people for the right jobs so that they don't get everybody killed. Immediately on the defensive, Shepard and Co. breach the Collector's base and learn that they're melting humans down into genetic goo to create a human-type Reaper. Shepard could choose to either destroy the base and the new Reaper along with it, or use a radiation pulse to kill the remaining Collectors and give the base to the Elusive Man for study. Regardless of which choice they make, the leader of the Collectors is revealed to have been under the direct control of the Reaper Harbinger, who disconnects just as the bomber blast goes off. Destroying the base will end Shepard's relationship with Cerberus immediately, whereas preserving it leaves them on more amicable terms. At least until Mass Effect 3.
Mass Effect 2 arrival and there.
At this point, there are a couple of DLCs set
Hello?
between games. Use them on more amicable terms. At least until
Did you
Mass
give me
Effect
4
3.
frames? Mass Effect 2 Arrival and Lair of the Shadow. Bro, what the fuck? This was made a year ago? Or no, 2 years ago, right? We just went over that? How the fuck is the volume so bad and this pacing so... Literally, me, who's not an editor, just did edits like a month ago that were like 10 times better. Are you kidding me? Decisions you make, people you kill, romances, etc. You gotta import your save between games. Ain't no cloud back then. Fuck, really, everything. I assume though you could like play Mass Effect 3 and just like start from scratch. It's kind of like Telltale and shit, where like you can bring your season 1 decisions and so they would carry over. Dude, IGN, sucks. Got him.
At this point, there are a couple of DLCs set between games. In Lair of the Shadow Broker, Liara Tassoni takes the spotlight to hunt down the elusive crime boss. It's honestly pretty light fare, but the short version is she settles a personal vendetta and becomes the new Shadow Broker herself. In Arrival, Shepard learns that the Reaper invasion plan is much further along than expected, and the Bahak system, home to the Batarian homeworld, is destroyed in an effort to delay the harvest. It's also at this point in the chronology that Mass Effect Andromeda starts its story, but we're gonna hold off until we finish the original trilogy to get to that.
Oh, of course, Chris. I just meant like it's doable, right?
Following the destruction of the Bahak system, Shepard finds himself subject to a military trial in Vancouver, trying to convince Earth officials of the Reaper threat as the invasion begins. Sent off planet by now Admiral Anderson, along with Caden or Ashley, depending on who survived Mass Effect 1, Shepard is tasked with gathering forces to help take back Earth, which is suffering the brunt of the attack. During their escape from Earth, Shepard watches a child's escape shuttle get destroyed by Reapers and then spends the rest of the game having nightmares about it.
Well, rip. That's really cool that whoever survived in Mass Effect 1 is who's in Mass Effect 3.
Which they find under attack by Cerberus forces led by the android Ava Kore. Liara explains that she found a blueprint for a mysterious device left behind by the Protheans called the Crucible, and the Normandy's crew sets out to search for it. Meanwhile, Cerberus and the Elusive Man want it for themselves, believing it'll help them control the Reapers.
The data in these artifacts holds the key to solving the Reaper threat.
Eva manages to steal some of the data, but gets taken down by Shepard after wounding the Vermeer survivor, Caden or Ashley, and takes her body back on board the Normandy to return to the Citadel for medical attention and to brief the Council. While Caden or Ashley recover, Shepard's request for help with building the Crucible and locating its missing component,
that must have been a motherfucker to write and plan that,
are denied by the Council, who claim that their resources are already spread too thin. However, the Turian Council privately tells Shepard that if they can rescue the Turian Primarch on their homeworld of Palaven, he would arrange for reinforcements to be sent to Earth. And here begins the part of Mass Effect 3 that may as well be called Shepard Becomes a Galactic Marriage Counselor, because they're about to heal about a millennia of cultural trauma in like 6 weeks. On Palaven's moon, the Turians tell Shepard that they need Krogan support to hold the Turian homeworld from the Reapers, but the Krogans hate the Turians, because of that whole forced sterilization and genocide thing. Shepard gets them on board by helping Morden find a cure for the genophage, which can then be either distributed on the Krogan homeworld of Tuchanka, which results in one of the saddest video game deaths of all time, depending on your choices, or it can be sabotaged for additional Solarian support in the war. Shepard also squashes the beef between the Quarians and the Geth, or at least one of them, anyways. See, the Quarians had decided that the middle of this Reaper invasion was the perfect time to try and reclaim their homeworld from the Geth, who have totally allied themselves with the Reapers to strengthen their forces against the Quarians. After destroying the local Reaper, Legion modifies the Reaper's code in order to upload a key for the Geth to gain individual free will. Legion sacrifices himself in the upload process, which Shepard can choose to stop or allow. If they stop it, the Quarians destroy the remaining Geth. If they let it go, the Geth rebel and eventually exterminate the Quarians. There's also a very particular combo of choices that lets Shepard convince both sides to just chill out and live in harmony together, but regardless of how it all shakes out, Shepard gains at least one new ally in the fight to save Earth. Oh, also, Udina totally sells out the Citadel to Cerberus' resident cyborg ninja assassin Kai Leng, who tries to take it over. Now, depending on their relationship with Caden or Ashley, who's been now promoted to Spectre, Shepard can either convince them that Udina's a traitor and they take him down together, or they have to fight and then Udina eats a bullet. Either way, Kai Leng escapes and Udina ends up dead. Later, the Asari counselor sends Shepard to her homeworld Thessia for something that could help with the creation of the Crucible.
Well, ship can pass from 1 to 2 to 3. It seems like it.
This one housing a VI called Vendetta, which tells Shepard and their friends about how, in the Prothean cycle, an indoctrinated splinter faction insisted on controlling the Reapers and sabotaged several efforts to build the Crucible. Sound familiar? The Protheans realized that the cyclical nature of the Reaper invasions meant that there must be some sort of puppet master behind it all, but they could never determine who it was or why they were doing it. Before Vendetta can tell Shepard what the missing Crucible component is, though, Kai Leng shows up and uses cutscene magic to steal the VI. Luckily, Normandy specialist Samantha Trainer traces Kai Leng's shuttle route to a refugee camp called Sanctuary, which Shepard discovers is actually a Cerberus front. Led by Henry Lawson, Miranda's father, the colony is turning refugees into husks to test the Elusive Man's theories on controlling the Reapers.
Fucking light speed. Not good gameplay. Good gameplay. Good gameplay can't transfer over. Toxic, mate. Toxic.
Database, Shepard is led to the Elusive Man's base of operations in the Anadius system. With
He's
the Crucible's
fine, bro.
construction
Low
complete,
key.
save for the Catalyst, the Alliance launches
Low
an
key,
assault on
actual
the Cerberus base,
chills.
where Shepard discovers that they've salvaged pieces of the Human Reaper from Mass Effect 2, which likely has resulted in the Elusive Man's indoctrination.
Oh boy.
This is confirmed when EDI recovers the VI, which informs the group that the Catalyst
Sorry
is
for the constant
Citadel,
yawning.
and that the
I'm
Elusive
fried,
Man
man.
has informed the Reapers of Shepard's plans to use it. As a result, the
I
Reapers
picked a good day to
relocate
do
the
this because
Citadel
I don't have
Earth,
juice
where
to
the
do
majority
any
of their forces
much
are.
else.
Kai Leng shows up for one more fight, but totally whiffs it, and Shepard heads back to Earth.
Oh fuck.
That was for Thane, you son of a bitch.
Hey, stupid bitch.
Admiral Hackett leads
Who was
Shepard's
that?
gathered fleet to Earth to support the London-based human resistance, with the plan being to get someone onto the Citadel, conveniently parked right overhead, to open its arms so that the Crucible can dock. After fighting their way to the Reaper conduit, like from Mass Effect 1, Shepard and Anderson are both wounded, but they make it aboard the Citadel where they're confronted by the Elusive Man, who's sporting a fresh set of Reaper implants to give him the power to control other organics. Using these new abilities, he forces Shepard to kill Anderson. And then Shepard can either convince the Elusive Man of his indoctrination, causing him to kill himself, or antagonize him to the point where he drops his guard and Shepard can shoot him themselves. Shepard manages to open the Citadel's arms in the Crucible docks, but nothing happens. Passing out from blood loss, they're transported to a section of the station where the device is connected. Here, Shepard is greeted by the Catalyst itself, that ancient AI made by the Leviathan that created and controlled the Reapers. Appearing to the commander as the kid from the beginning, it explains its purpose of preserving organic life by any means necessary, emphasis on the any. With the Crucible in the mix, however, the Catalyst is open to a new solution, and gives Shepard a choice. They can 1. Use the Crucible to destroy all synthetic life, including the Geth and EDI, and end the Reaper cycles forever. 2. Take the Catalyst's place and control the Reapers, which will sacrifice their corporeal form. Or 3. Add Shepard's life force? It's kinda messy. To the Crucible itself to merge all synthetic and organic life into a new hybrid form. Shepard can also refuse to make a decision, though this results in the continuation of the cycle and the subsequent death of everyone they've ever loved, so we're going to assume that they pick one of the other options. Regardless of which choice Shepard makes, the Crucible fires through the mass relay network, which is destroyed in the process, though the damage is less extensive in the synthesis or control endings, and the Normandy crash lands on an unknown planet. The crew holds a brief memorial service for their commander, though if Shepard chose the destroy option and had accumulated enough war assets before the end of the game, there is a brief cutscene showing that they might have survived. No matter what happens, though, with the harvest cycles over and the mass relays destroyed, the galaxy is undeniably and forever changed.
This is wild. Who would have known that Mass Effect was cool? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now we got to the good part.
Now that we're through the main series, let's rewind to the end of Mass Effect 2. Under the guise of outward expansion, but in reality as a last-ditch effort to preserve galactic civilization in the event of a successful Reaper attack in the Milky Way, the Andromeda Initiative launches a one-way expedition to the next galaxy over. The first wave of the initiative consists of 4 ARC ships, one for each species: Turians, humans, Solarians, and Asari, and the flagship dubbed the Nexus, which carries a mix of species and will serve as sort of a hub for the other ARCs. Each ARC has what's called a Pathfinder, a specialist who will effectively serve as leader and guide for each species as they explore this new galaxy. Partnered with each Pathfinder is a Simulated Adaptive Matrix, or SAM, a biosynthetic implant which can provide analytical support equivalent to a year's worth of research and study in a matter of seconds.
I think Shiz was only like the story from all the Mass Effect, to be honest. Yeah.
Initially as a means of finding a cure for his terminal
Probably. What's up, Tiger?
The initiative sets sail for Andromeda's Helios cluster, jumps into their cryostasis pods for a very long nap while they leave the Milky Way behind, and we flash forward the 600 or so years it takes to cross the dark space between galaxies and make sure you don't have to worry about franchise continuity. While the members of the initiative were in cryosleep, though, the Andromeda Galaxy was dealing with its own issues. An advanced species called the Jardin had basically turned the Helios cluster into one big experiment, creating a terraforming network, later referred to as remnant tech by the initiative, that spanned the entire system, which could be found in ancient vaults on multiple planets. An unknown conflict involving the Jardin resulted in the near destruction of a network control center called Meridian, and released a dark energy cloud that became known as the Scourge. enveloping and damaging the environment and technology on planets all around the Helios cluster. The Jardaan abandoned the system, leaving behind their terraforming technology, some robots, and even a sentient genetically engineered species called the Angara that were left to expand across the cluster, eventually founding their own culture and customs.
Oh. Here we go, death time. Hey, you work it? I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it.
A little over a century later, the Ket, a hostile alien race of unknown origins, arrive in the cluster and begin abducting Angaran citizens and overriding their genetic structure with Ket genes in a process they call exaltation. Several hundred years later, the Nexus is the first initiative ship to arrive in the galaxy, but is set off course when it collides with the Scourge energy cloud. Several key personnel die in the aftermath, including the initiative's founder, Gian Garson, leaving the Solarian Jaren Tan the new head of the Andromeda Initiative. With the Scourge having rendered the planets that the Andromeda Initiative planned to colonize inhospitable, passengers on the Nexus were faced with the reality that they had traveled 600 years for what appeared to be a catastrophic failure. With supplies dwindling and unrest spreading, a full-on revolt eventually begins against the Initiative's leadership. Tan wakes up the Krogan Nakmor clan to help end the rebellion, but the clan's leader, Nakmor Morta, demands the Krogans have a seat on the Initiative's council in exchange for helping them fight off the mutiny. The Krogans succeeded, but Tan reneges on the deal and both the rebels and the Krogans are exiled from the Initiative, settling on the planets Kadara and Eladon, respectively. 14 months later, Alec Ryder arrives in Andromeda on the human arc as it collides with another cloud of Scourge energy. One of his twin children, the other of whom is Yu, so we'll just call them Ryder from now on, ends up comatose after a power surge damages their cryopod. And Alec, along with the rest of his Pathfinder team, that's Yu, Liam Costa, and Cora Harper, head down to the targeted planet known as Habitat 7 to find out what had gone wrong. Upon landing, the team runs into the Ket, which sort of puts a damper on the whole peaceful first contact thing, and follows a strange
I remember seeing them in
where Alec and Sam are able to hack
the
into
videos
its
of all the
hull and
glitches.
stabilize the weather, but the monolith's decontamination field pushes both riders out into the toxic atmosphere and breaks the young rider's helmet. To save them, Alec gives them his helmet and transfers his Sam to their implant. Ryder wakes up back on Hyperion to learn that their father didn't survive. And while the title wasn't meant to be hereditary, they find themselves the only person with a functioning Sam, and thus the new human Pathfinder.
All right. I got us here. Good luck, Pathfinder.
Ryder decides to find the Nexus, where they learn just how poorly things have gone up to this point and quickly have the fate of the entire initiative placed on their shoulders. Given a ship called the Tempest, the Pathfinder team heads to Eos, where the initiative has been trying to make some headway on their colonization efforts. There, Ryder meets Nakmor Drak, one of the few Krogans still associated with the initiative, and Peebee, an Asari researching the remnant tech left by the Jardaan. Peebee directs them to a vault that Sam and Ryder are able to use to terraform the planet and make its atmosphere breathable, thus restoring one of the initiative's so-called Golden Worlds. A map inside the vault shows the team others all across the cluster, which leads them to Aya, a planet inhabited by the native Angara. En route, the Tempest is attacked by the leader of the Ket, called the Archon, who's taken an interest in Ryder's ability to use the remnant tech. Sam hacks the Archon ship to release the Tempest from his clutches, and the group lands on Aya to meet the locals.
What was it? The Crypt of the Crypt Keeper? Tales from the Crypt Keeper?
The Pathfinder team helps their resistance leader,
Tales from the Crypt?
Dara, fight off the Ket invaders and rescue their head scientist, the Moshe, from a Ket facility on the planet Vold. During the rescue,
Hey, yo, he getting sturdy?
the truth of Ket exaltation, that the enemies they've been
Dancer, the
fighting
Crypto
are the
Dancer?
people
Yes,
who remain to
yes.
their friends and family.
I still have to play that.
Back on Aya, Ryder and Mose
No!
enter the vault and discover the remnant network
Brother.
seems to have a master control center called Meridian, corroborating something the Moshe heard while she was in Ket captivity. She suggests the Archon may have an artifact that's key to
captivity?
finding Meridian. En route to assault the Ket ship, the Pathfinder team realizes the Solarian Ark is tethered to it, and the Ket are using Solarians on board for their own experiments. Ryder and their squad team up with the Solarian Pathfinder Zevin Reka as she sneaks into the Archon ship to try and rescue the Solarian prisoners. Ryder gets trapped by the Archon, who injects them with a device that shows him their memories so he can learn how they use the remnant tech. Sam uses its connection to Ryder's body to briefly kill the Pathfinder in order to break the Archon's connection and escape. While moving through the ship, the team finds an exalted Krogan, one of a group
This
reported
shit is
missing
sick.
by Nakmor Drak. After finding the artifact in the Archon's chambers and extracting the info from it, Ryder has to choose whether to save Reka and her squad or rescue Drak's missing scouts on their way out.
This is the last chance for Drak scouts. The Archon will turn them into monsters.
It's here that Ryder can either head straight into the endgame or go on a handful of plot-critical but somehow not required missions, including finding the Asari and Turian Arcs and saving their Pathfinders along with them, discovering a splinter faction of Ket rebelling against the Archon's obsession with remnant tech, interfering with their ultimate goal to exalt the entire Helios cluster, and discovering that their mom is still alive and awaiting a cure in cryostasis.
You can miss all this?
Totally optional though. Definitely not important. Wild, huh? Anyways, Ryder follows the coordinates from the artifact to a remnant city.
What's up,
which
Eternal?
isn't
How you
Meridian
doing?
Itself, but instead the key to Sierra control node, ground zero for the release of the Scourge and the birthplace of the Angara. And they learned that the Jardin had planned to eventually return and finish the work that they had started. The actual Meridian that serves as the heart of the remnant vault network was separated from Key to Sierra and sent away through the Helios cluster on autopilot. Activating a fleet of remnant ships in the city, Ryder and their team managed to piece together the navigational data with a map of the cluster to pinpoint Meridian's current location. As Ryder prepares to reach Meridian, they learn that the Archon has captured the Hyperion Arc to use Sam to activate Meridian for himself, which severs Ryder's connection to the AI. The Archon also takes their twin captive as both hostage and host for Sam's ability to use the remnant tech through their implant. Ryder uses their now Samless implant to control the remnant ships in the city, giving them a fleet to match the Kett as the two groups head to Meridian for a final battle. Both factions enter the station's hollow center and find it houses a living biome, fully capable of supporting life. Ryder pursues the Archon towards Meridian's control center, accompanied by various allies they've made throughout the game, including Angaran resistance fighters, initiative forces, and the Krogan Scouts or Rakus Pathfinder squad. Once the Archon reaches the control center, he leaves the Hyperion with Ryder's twin and the ship crashes. With its arc sufficiently planted in there, everyone sort of unanimously agrees that humanity would get to live in Meridian after, and if, the day is won. Ryder faces off with the Archon in the control center, ultimately defeating him to save their twin and activate Meridian to make planets habitable again. The day is won, and the Andromeda Initiative is assumed to prosper in their newfound home galaxy, but we still don't know what threats exist beyond the Helios cluster, and of course, the Kett threat still remains. And we might be seeing them in the next Mass Effect game, which BioWare's devs are hinting will bring the Andromeda Galaxy and the Milky Way together in some way. But all we know for now, though, is that Liara appears to be in it, which is cool, but it doesn't tell us much. In the meantime, thanks for catching up on the story so far with us. For more on Mass Effect, check out how the original game stacks up against the remastered Legendary Edition, and for everything else, stick around on IGN.
Gamble with the teases. That was great. I like that a lot. That one was fire. She hiccups more than Redfall on a Series S. Brr. So I'm trying to think. We did Elden Ring, and then Elden Ring again. Star Wars. Mass Effect, some Warhammer. I think I'll actually end it there just because I'm so tired that I'm like falling asleep. That's the only thing that sucks is like at least it was like a perfect day for this because I just had to watch stuff. But at the same time, I wish I had more energy, you know. But that was a lot of fun. We'll have to do this again with more games and stuff. I want to do some like Dark Souls, Sekiro. I want to do other just like classic games and stuff like how we just did this, you know, games that I haven't played, or even games that I have, but it's just been a long time. Even like Binding of Isaac, let's say I have like 500 hours in it, but it was crazy to see the lore and see like the actual stuff. That Elden Ring one was really fucking cool. I'm honestly tempted to dive deeper into the Elden Ring lore and even Destiny lore, because Destiny, as you know, it's all like grimoires and shit. So it's a really cool story that you have to really dig for, and fuck that, you know? YouTube, if you're still here and you enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see some more lore videos. Thanks for watching. Peace.